June 29th, 2022, Rotoball Patch Compound. Got two full plants, a sea of green, and some structures up. We'll get right to it, guys. Hold tight. Standing inside the stop sign patch enclosure. Still have the shade fabric up. The plant is looking great. We have a wingspan of probably 20 foot at her widest. Good secondary development with some areas devoid of secondaries. I will train tertiaries into that area, I mean, maybe even fourth stage growth if I have to fill it. We will have plant there. Most importantly, yeah, our set from the 23rd is looking good. She's 6 days old, and just like on the original plant, she is very golden colored. I think we are going to have a nice, very red fruit off of this gal. There's others out in the tip, one just shy of the tip and one deep in the tip, and one on the secondary. We'll pollinate a few more just because, but I believe this gal's taken, and she's a beaut. Standing on the patio, looking at the patio pumpkin. She's still growing and doing all right. We do have two fruit set. This was an earlier set. You can see by the soda can. Oh, maybe a depth 11 or 12, who knows. You can see that it's much smaller than the competition plants. Same genetics and everything, just how you treat it. And this one's been treated poorly. Not in the sense of abuse and misuse, but just general maintenance. It has received insecticide and it has received fungicide, but very little other attention. We have another fruit. Sit right here. This off of the board, and I'm gonna try to let that gal just drop straight down. See if we can get a Cinderella off this goofy thing. I've always wanted to try one. My buddy Dustin Trickta did one year, and it's just phenomenally beautiful. Probably the prettiest pumpkin ever grown in West Virginia, including my super red Goldie that I had last year. It just had a beautiful shape. Mine was a prettier collar. His was a prettier fruit. So I'm gonna try to do something similar to what he did just because it's set up for that. Why not? This will be our state fair pumpkin, West Virginia State Fair. We're gonna win that $65 first place, yeah. Now we're on the front side of the 1992.5. You can see that we have a nice fruit set. That's our fruit that was pollinated on the 11th. We have our secondaries that are coming out before the fruit, waterfalling down here past the fruit. That will leave a bare bones access point to where we can sneak in and evaluate the fruit and manage the fruit as needed. The fruit is 18 days old today. I do have a tape measure here. Really haven't measured it but once, just to make sure we were growing. We had a cold night and I wanted to follow up to make sure that it was still doing its job, and it is. Fruit looks good. As you can see, the shade structure's up. This is 4 T-posts, pounded in the ground, 7-foot tall T-post with 6 mil plastic spread across it. Below that, I have a fabric just rigged in there to kind of keep the sunshine off of it. I keep my fruit covered with a sheet as well throughout the night, and I take that off probably about 11 o'clock or so and let that fruit have some open air. But you can tell, looking at the fruit, she is pumping. You see a lot of veins, a lot of action going on, so this fruit is getting moisture as we speak, quite a bit. Stem looks very nice and healthy still, no issues there. Early splits are okay, they heal right up. This is going to be a nice fruit, just simply put. The 1965.5 Rotoball, same song and dance on the vine pattern. The veg is really doing its job. You can notice that some of those secondaries are not buried very well, especially towards the end of the fruit. And I normally keep up on my secondary burying much better than that. Well, there's a reason for that. So I have my shade set up, and of course I have my dance floor and sand set. But 2 days ago, inspecting the fruit, which is just a golden dream, by the way. I noticed on our shoulders, a little dark area, and this was sunken in. It looked horrible. Not worried about this stem split. You guys know that those are no issues. But that's nonsense right there. Something that I have not dealt with before on a fruit that does well. So I left some secondaries, ones with the long stakes. You can see how some stakes are longer than others that have potential backup fruit, hang out. And I pollinated one this morning. We leave nothing to chance that we do not get a fruit set on this plant. There's far too much effort and work that's gone through it thus far not to have a fruit. Now this is an ideal fruit in the sense of an ideal location. That nonsense that happened on the shoulders, which has since healed and looks better in 3 days, is far from ideal, but it looks quite a bit better. The good news is this fruit continues to give me 5 to 6 inches a day in CC. It was pollinated on the 15th, which makes it ADAPT 13. And to be honest with you, ADAPT 13, that is a dandy of ADAPT 13. I have it crossed with the Pierpont. I really want this fruit. I have no more Pierpont males. I've been pulling those off for weeks now. So most of the potential new flowering females on this plant will have to be pollinated either as a self from the patio pumpkin or from the blooms of the clone. That gal this morning was pollinated with the clone, and that's not bad. It's not like the clone has bad genetics. I just really want to put the Pierpont into this fruit. So fingers crossed, she's back from the dead, baby. Grow, baby, grow. That's a wrap for this week's video. I invite you folks to choose a team on the Pumpkin Wars competition if you have not done so already. As before, your team choices have remained the same. It's myself, Team Doc, Scott, Jacob, and Jeff. Feel free to pick any of us. We're all great growers. We'd all appreciate the support. You don't have to be politically correct and pick the person you've always had a good relationship with. Just pick who you think's going to win, whose seeds you think you're going to want at the end of the game. Hit the like button, subscribe. That way you don't miss any videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, I do not know what I'm going to have to do to get you to subscribe to these awesome pumpkin videos. But by all means, if there's any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, hit us up. Any of us are willing to answer. Otherwise, grow them big, and I'll see you at the scale. Doc out.